Sure.
So, Joe, I have one more question. We were just talking in following up this interview about fun and how important fun is on the creative and entrepreneurial journey. And I have to say, as you know, in my experience in working with you back when I was like 25 years ago, it was the most fun I think I'd ever had in a job. Right? At Thunder House, we had a good time, and that was such an inherent part of the culture. It was like, and it started me with this theory of like, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. You know, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that it was a stressful time. Remember, we were doing a lot of things then that really had never been done before, and we were all pretty young. And besides the fact that we didn't have a lot of business experience, we didn't have a lot of creative experience. And it was a really stressful time. And I think if it weren't for the laughter and we had the stress that bonded us, but also when we were able to step away from work, we had the fun that bonded us. And I think without that fun, we never would have been able to make it. And I think that at the end of the day, if you're not having a blast, there's something wrong, really. And you hear people complain all the time about their jobs. Especially check half the listings or half the status updates on Facebook of how miserable people can be. And it's like, get out. If you're that unhappy, you got to stop it, because life should be a lot more fun than it is. And you're right, Melissa. It's when I look back, I forget all the hard times. I say it was stressful. I don't remember much of the stress. But I have vivid memories of the fun, of smoking cigars by the San Francisco Bay after launching a giant site in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thunder House Cafeteria, at McCormick. Was it McCormick's? What was that? I can't remember. McCormick's. And the Clift House. And, we definitely, it was a great time.
It was awesome.
It was like a family, awesome. I think that there's something about creating a culture of belonging and camaraderie that helps, and we do actually, I think that's why it's so important to paint, to create in a group, in a community. And one of the real assets that Fire Tree Studios provides, because it gives that, sort of safe and comforting environment for creatives to come together and to go through those edges and the stresses and deal with the lizard brain. And although it's a very individual experience, it's also very communal in that everyone's going through it together. And I think there's so much to be said about that. And I do agree that, in these intense times of change and, where industries are being revolutionized, it is so important to remember that to have a good time and to play, to play, it's so much about innovation is about play. So cool.
Well, I bet when I look at some of the photos that you post on Facebook and some of the videos, I'll bet that for a lot of the folks who come to your studio, they spend most of their days taking care of other people.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a home life or in a corporate life, and you can tell that they're having fun because part of what they're doing is focusing on themselves for once. And sometimes it's okay to be selfish, and that can be fun. We all deserve that.
Yeah, well, I think I think that globally we're going, at least in the Western, mind, I think we're going through a major renaissance of, okay, we have to take care of ourselves before we can truly take care of other people or serve other people. I think with my background as a counselor, and psychotherapist, that's one of the biggest things that I learned is there's a term called self-care, and that it's required to do this work, and that's one thing that they really really encouraged us to prioritize, and still do. I've realized that as an entrepreneur, as someone that's in a service-oriented field, to really, take care of myself first so that I can serve other people.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
How do I take care of myself?
Yeah.
Has a lot to do with vodka. You know what, Melissa? I think that there's an amount of time that you spend in an office and away from your family that feels extraordinarily selfish to me sometimes. And so for me, being able to focus on my passion and on my job is the same as taking care of myself. It feels that way to me. I love it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Well, I also know that you're a big runner too. So
yes, that's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do like to run. It's a nice chance to just get out and forget about the world and think a little bit. And it is a nice, fun, selfish act. I forgot about that. And the vodka.
I don't think it was selfish, and I know, that can be. I think of it as being self-responsible, really.
It is, but oftentimes the runs that make you happiest are the ones where you feel the worst before you take your first step.
Yeah.
And I think there's a good lesson there that really good feelings can come out of dread. Because oftentimes if you're... Or angst. Exactly.
I know from my own personal breakthroughs, like when I really, and we often say this in the studio, we have to break down before we break through. And I think going through some of those darker feelings or, that angst or despair, even in the creative process, we have to move through it and transcend it in order to get to the bliss, right?
Yeah, you do.
So cool.
You do.
Awesome, Joe.
I got a text message from Bill Quilvan, and he says, Kathy says hi.
Oh, cool. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Bill. Well, I love you, Joe. Thank you so much for your time. You continue to inspire me, and I'm just, so grateful that you took this time to talk with me and to share, and we're so open about sharing this with everyone. So thank you.
Melissa, it was an honor. Thank you. I love you too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.